This was the most desperate moment of a honey badger cub's life. While crossing a flooded river, it was suddenly ambushed by a massive python. The snake wrapped its powerful coils around the tiny cub and dragged it beneath the water. On the African savanna, the raging flood had become the line between life and death. The fearless little honey badger, famous for its courage, was now completely helpless. The violent current was far stronger than anything its small claws could resist. Every struggle drained the last of its strength. On the riverbank, the mother faced the worst moment of her life. For one of nature's bravest animals, being unable to protect her own cub was more terrifying than facing any predator. But maternal instinct overcame every fear. Without hesitation, she plunged into the rushing water. Driven entirely by instinct, she threw herself into the current and positioned her body between the flood and her cub. Diving beneath the surface, the jaws normally used to crush prey became a lifeline. She carefully grabbed her cub and tried to carry it toward safety. But the greatest danger was still waiting beneath the surface. A giant python had already locked its cold, emotionless eyes on the struggling pair. Seeing an opportunity, it launched a lightning-fast attack just as the mother fought toward the riverbank. In an instant, the rescue turned into a deadly battle between one of nature's greatest constrictors and one of its most fearless fighters. The python tightened its coils with crushing force, enough to suffocate almost any animal. But the honey badger's thick, loose skin acted like natural armor, helping it resist the deadly pressure. She immediately fought back, driving her sharp teeth deep into the python's scales and tearing at its body with relentless determination. The battle drifted into deeper water, where the python held every advantage. The cub, still trapped within the coils, relied on its own survival instincts. Its unusually loose skin created just enough space to keep moving. Desperately twisting and struggling, it searched for even the smallest chance to breathe. The python had only one goal: to drag both mother and cub beneath the water until they could no longer fight. It became a brutal contest of endurance, with every second draining the mother's strength. Again and again, they battled beneath the surface and broke back into the air. Fueled only by instinct and determination, the honey badger continued ripping at the python, refusing to surrender. On the African wilderness, the will to protect her young proved stronger than the fear of death itself. In the end, she won. With one final burst of strength, she tore her cub free from the python's deadly grip. There was no time to rest. Grabbing the exhausted cub in her jaws, she swam with everything she had toward the riverbank. Behind them, the python continued its pursuit through the murky water. Feeling the predator closing in, the mother summoned the last of her strength and climbed onto the muddy shore, dragging her soaking cub safely onto land. Just as they escaped the water, the python launched one final strike, but it missed by inches. The danger was finally over. As the golden evening sun spread across the African savanna, the mother gently carried her exhausted cub on her back and returned to their familiar den. For the first time since the nightmare began, she could finally rest. Her mission was complete. Her cub had survived, and the bond forged between them in the face of death had become stronger than ever.